The Silent Guardian. The Z-Carry warships moved through space like predators stalking their prey. Their crystalline hulls reflected the dying light of a nearby star as they approached the peaceful world of Lumina. The indigenous Luminians, known throughout the galaxy for their advanced medical knowledge and strict policy of neutrality, had no significant military force. They were about to pay the price for their pacifism. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the HSS Phantom, humanity's first quantum phase warship, watching the unfolding scene through advanced sensor arrays. Her ship, invisible to all known detection systems, had been quietly monitoring the escalating tensions in this sector for months. The Phantom represented Earth's best-kept secret. While the rest of the galaxy thought humans were still struggling with basic interstellar travel, they had actually achieved technological breakthroughs that would reshape the balance of power. "Captain, they're launching orbital bombardment platforms," Lieutenant Marcus Rivera reported, his dark eyes fixed on the tactical display. "The Z-Carry aren't even attempting negotiations." Chen's jaw tightened. The Phantom had strict orders not to reveal humanity's true capabilities unless absolutely necessary. But watching a genocide in progress wasn't something she could stomach. "How many civilians in the capital city?" "Over 12 million, Captain. The Luminians don't even have planetary shields." The bridge fell silent as the first Z-Carry weapon platforms began powering up. They were about to witness the extinction of a species whose only crime was dedicating themselves to healing rather than warfare. "Signal command for emergency authorization to intervene," Chen ordered, her voice steady despite the weight of the decision. "And begin power-up sequences for the phase cannons." While they waited for Earth's response, Chen studied the Z-Carry fleet configuration. 27 warships, arranged in a standard assault formation. Their technology was considered advanced by galactic standards, but the Phantom could run circles around them. The real question was how to intervene without revealing too much of humanity's capabilities. The response from Earth Command came faster than expected. Authorization granted. Minimal technological exposure. Save who you can. "All hands to battle stations," Chen announced. "Tactical, prepare to drop quantum cloak on my mark. Target their command and control systems only. We want to disable, not destroy." The crew moved with practiced precision. While the galaxy thought humans were still fumbling with basic spaceflight, the reality was that Earth had been preparing for this moment for decades. They had watched, learned, and quietly advanced while staying in the shadows. "Z-Carry weapons platforms at 70% charge," Rivera reported. 4 minutes until they can fire." Chen nodded. "Deploy quantum buoys. Let's make sure we have a complete sensor picture before we move." Small, virtually undetectable devices shot out from the Phantom, creating a perfect three-dimensional map of the battlefield. "Ma'am," Communications Officer Yuki Tanaka called out, "I'm picking up a transmission from the Luminian surface. They're broadcasting a plea for mercy across all frequencies." The Luminian message was simple and heartbreaking. "We are healers. We have helped all species, including the Z-Carry. Why do you do this?" Chen had seen enough. "Drop cloak. Target their primary command ship's weapons and propulsion systems. Single-phase cannon burst, minimal yield." The Phantom shimmered into visibility directly above the Z-Carry fleet. Before the alien warships could react, a precise beam of quantum-phased energy lanced out, passing through the command ship shields as if they didn't exist. The massive vessel's weapons went dark, its engines powered down. Panic erupted across the Z-Carry fleet. Their sensors couldn't make sense of the ship that had appeared from nowhere, or the weapon that had ignored their most advanced defenses. "Unknown vessel, identify yourself," the Z-Carry commander demanded, his translated voice carrying equal parts fury and fear. Chen opened a channel to all ships. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth vessel HS Phantom. You are attempting to commit genocide against a peaceful species. This stops now." The response was predictable. "Earth? Impossible. Human ships cannot." A second-phase cannon shot disabled another Z-carry vessel's weapons. Your next words should be very carefully chosen, Chen interrupted. You have 30 seconds to power down your bombardment platforms and withdraw from this system. She could almost feel the Z-carry commander's calculations. Their sensors would be telling them that the Phantom's hull was made of materials they'd never encountered, that its power signature didn't match any known configuration. They had no way to know what else the ship could do. You're bluffing, the Z-carry commander declared. One ship cannot stand against our fleet. Open fire. Chen sighed. Tactical. Execute pattern echo. Minimal force. The Phantom phased out of normal space, reappearing simultaneously in 3 different locations around the Z-carry fleet. Each image was solid, each capable of firing. It was an ability that would have the galaxy's physicists rewriting textbooks if they ever figured out how it worked. Within 2 minutes, half the Z-carry fleet had been disabled, their weapons and engines offline. Not a single ship had been destroyed, but the message was clear. They were helpless against this unknown human vessel. Your fleet is neutralized, Chen broadcast. The Luminians are now under Earth's protection. Withdraw your remaining ships and inform your leadership that the policy of targeting peaceful species ends today. As the Z-carry fleet retreated in disarray, Chen knew that humanity's quiet observation of galactic affairs had just ended. The galaxy would soon be asking questions about Earth's true capabilities, and the answers would reshape the existing power structure. Send word to Earth Command, she ordered. Operation Silent Guardian is now active. Request additional ships to help secure the Luminian system. The crew acknowledged her orders, each understanding the historic significance of this moment. Humanity had finally stepped onto the galactic stage, not as the primitive species everyone thought they were, but as an advanced civilization capable of protecting those who couldn't protect themselves. The age of humanity hiding in the shadows was over. The galaxy was about to learn that Earth had teeth, and the wisdom to know when to bear them. Diplomatic shock. News of the HSS Phantom's intervention spread across the galaxy like a shockwave. Within days, the Grand Galactic Council had convened an emergency session on their capital station, Nexus Prime. Representatives from 37 spacefaring civilizations gathered to discuss what many were calling the human deception. Ambassador Michael Okonjo sat calmly in Earth's newly assigned chamber within the council hall, a position that had been hastily prepared after the Luminian incident. The peaceful species had not only survived, but had formally requested Earth's continued protection, forcing the Council to acknowledge humanity's new status. The Council chamber hummed with tension as High Speaker Velfar, a towering figure from the Arxian Empire, called the session to order. We are here to address the apparent technological disparity between Earth's presented capabilities and their actual military power. Ambassador Okonjo, your people have much to explain. Michael stood, his dark diplomatic robes contrasting with the sterile white of the chamber. What requires explanation, High Speaker? Earth has never claimed to be primitive. We simply chose not to broadcast our capabilities. You deliberately missiled the galactic community. The Z-carry representative, War Chief Kraz, slammed his crystalline fist against his podium. While pretending to struggle with basic spaceflight, you were building weapons that could bypass our strongest defenses. Interesting, Michael replied, his voice carrying just a hint of steel. You seem more concerned about our defensive capabilities than your attempted genocide of the Luminians. Perhaps we should discuss that instead. The chamber erupted in overlapping voices. The Luminian representative, a tall, ethereal figure named Healer Val, raised her hands for silence. The humans saved our entire civilization. While you all debated intervention protocols, Earth acted. They'd proved themselves not just technologically advanced, but morally worthy of their power. Pretty words, growled Kraz, but they don't address the fundamental issue. The HSS Phantom demonstrated technologies that violate known physical laws. Quantum phasing on that scale should be impossible. Multiple simultaneous solid projections, shields that adapt to any weapon frequency. Earth must share these technologies. Michael allowed himself a small smile. Must we? Earth has observed how the galaxy's powers use their technological advantages. The Zetkari attempt to exterminate peaceful species. The Arxians subjugate developing civilizations. The Meridian Consortium hoards resources, while younger species starve. Why should we share our advances with those who have proven themselves unworthy of them? High Speaker Velfar's massive frame tensed. Are you suggesting that humans are morally superior to the established powers? Not at all, Michael replied. We have our own dark chapters, but we've learned from them. Earth's policy is simple. We will defend those who cannot defend themselves. We will share our medical and scientific knowledge freely. But our military technology remains our own. The Meridian Consortium's representative, a cybernetically enhanced human-like figure, leaned forward. And if we insist, the combined fleets of the major powers could overwhelm even your advanced vessels. The chamber grew deadly quiet as Michael activated a holographic display. It showed thousands of quantum signatures scattered throughout known space. Could they? The Phantom isn't our only ship. We have vessels stationed near every major military installation in the galaxy. They've been there for years, gathering data, analyzing weaknesses. Earth doesn't want war, but we are prepared for it. The revelation sent shockwaves through the assembly. The major powers had been infiltrated, their defenses mapped, their strategies known. Earth's technological advantage was even greater than they had imagined. What do you want? High Speaker Velthar asked, his voice heavy with resignation. Reform, Michael stated simply. The galaxy needs better governance. The strong must protect the weak, not exploit them. Earth proposes a new charter for the Council, with actual enforcement mechanisms. No more genocide. No more subjugation of developing species. No more resource hoarding. And if we refuse, Kraz challenged, then Earth will enforce these principles alone. We would prefer cooperation, but we don't require it. The chamber descended into intense discussion. Some representatives were outraged, others intrigued. The smaller powers, long dominated by the major civilizations, saw an opportunity for change. Healer Val spoke again, her melodic voice cutting through the chaos. The humans could have conquered us all in secret. Instead, they revealed themselves to protect my people. They seek reform, not dominion. Perhaps we should listen. As the debate raged on, Michael received a priority message from Earth Command. Multiple Zetkari battle groups were mobilizing near their borders. Other major powers were also moving their fleets, testing humanity's claims about their hidden vessels. One final point, Michael announced, silencing the chamber. To demonstrate our commitment to peace, Earth will establish a rapid response force to protect any civilization that requests it. The HSS Phantom was just the beginning. The galaxy is changing, honored representatives. You can help shape that change, or you can resist it. Choose wisely. The message was clear. Humanity had emerged not just as a technological power, but as a force for transformation in a galaxy that desperately needed it. The next few days would determine whether that transformation would come through cooperation or conflict. As the session adjourned, Michael knew that Earth's ships throughout the galaxy were going to visible mode, revealing their positions as both a warning and a show of faith. The game of shadows was over. Now came the harder task of rebuilding the galactic order. The Alliance test. Admiral Elena Rodriguez stood at the command center of Earth's newly revealed Arcturus station, watching real-time projections of fleet movements across the galaxy. The massive holographic display showed hundreds of ships from various species repositioning themselves, like pieces on a cosmic chessboard. The Meridian Consortium has officially requested our help, her XO, Commander David Chen, reported. Their mining colonies in the Vega sector are under attack by Arxian forces. They're claiming it's a humanitarian crisis. Rodriguez studied the tactical overlay. The Meridian Consortium, masters of resource exploitation, crying about humanitarian concerns. Something didn't add up. And the Arxians, They claim the colonies are actually military installations disguised as mining operations. They've invited us to verify their intelligence. Both sides wanting our involvement, Rodriguez mused. That's never a good sign. Status of our assets in the region. The HSS Spectre and HSS Shadow are already in position, cloaked. They've been monitoring the situation since before the conflict started. Rodriguez nodded. After the Phantom's revelation, Earth had gradually disclosed the existence of more of their advanced vessels. But not all of them. Never all of them. Display the Spectre's surveillance data. The hologram shifted, showing detailed scans of the disputed colonies. The Arxian claims weren't entirely false. There were military-grade power signatures hidden beneath several mining facilities. But the Arxian response was grossly disproportionate, threatening millions of civilian workers. It's a trap, Commander Chen concluded. Both sides are trying to force us to choose. Not just them, Rodriguez added, gesturing to another sector of the display. Look at the Zetkari fleet movements. They're positioning for a strike against the consortium's primary shipyards, while their forces are distracted with the Arxians. The politics were clear. If Earth helped the consortium, they'd be tacitly approving their illegal military buildup. If they sided with the Arxians, they'd be sanctioning an attack on civilian targets. Either choice would undermine their moral authority and split the galaxy into opposing camps. Get me a channel to both the consortium and Arxian leadership, Rodriguez ordered, and contact the Luminian Medical Council. I have an idea. Within hours, the leaders of both factions appeared on separate screens in the command center. The consortium was represented by Director Vasha, her cybernetic enhancements gleaming. The Arxian Empire had sent High Commander Relthak, his massive frame barely contained by the display. Your forces are 8 hours from engagement, Rodriguez began without preamble. Before you start a war that will cost millions of lives, I have a proposal. The Arxians cannot be trusted, Vasha began. The consortium's violations, Relthak thundered. Enough, Rodriguez cut them both off. Earth will not choose sides in your conflict. Instead, we're implementing a new protocol. The Luminian Medical Council has agreed to establish neutral humanitarian stations throughout the disputed territory. These stations will be protected by Earth vessels and staffed by medical teams from all species. Both leaders started to object, but Rodriguez continued. Additionally, Earth will deploy automated quantum sensors throughout the region. Any military action that threatens civilian populations will be met with immediate response, not just from us, but from a coalition of species who have already agreed to this arrangement. You cannot simply impose, Relthak began. We can, and we will, Rodriguez stated, because both of you know what happens if you refuse. The Phantom showed just a fraction of our capabilities. Would you like to see more? The threat hung in the air, made more potent by its subtlety. Earth had spent decades watching, learning, and preparing. Both leaders knew their military secrets were compromised. The consortium accepts these terms, Vasha said finally, her cybernetic eyes calculating new probabilities. Relthak took longer, his pride warring with pragmatism. The Empire conditionally agrees. Good, Rodriguez nodded. Now about those Zetkari ships approaching the consortium shipyards. Both leaders stiffened. They hadn't known about that. Earth proposes a joint defense operation. Your forces, working together under Earth's coordination, to send a clear message about the new order we're establishing. The proposal was audacious. Former enemies suddenly cooperating under human leadership. But the alternative was worse, letting the Zetkari exploit their conflict to gain military advantage. As the details were worked out, Commander Chen approached Rodriguez. Think it will hold? Long enough, she replied. The galaxy is learning that Earth won't be manipulated into taking sides. We're creating something new, a framework for cooperation rather than competition. The holographic display updated, showing consortium and Arxian ships moving into defensive positions around the shipyards. Earth vessels decloaked among them, their presence both reassurance and warning. "Send word to the Phantom," Rodriguez ordered. "Tell Captain Chen her actions at Lumina started something bigger than we imagined. The galaxy isn't just seeing our technology now, they're seeing our vision for the future." As the joint fleet assembled, Rodriguez allowed herself a small smile. The old powers were learning that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their advanced ships or weapons. It was their ability to turn enemies into allies, to find paths to peace where others saw only opportunities for war. The alliance test was just beginning, and Earth was rewriting the rules with every move. Counterstrike. The emergency alert jolted Captain Sarah Chen awake at 300 ship time. The HSS Phantom's AI had detected unusual quantum signatures in the Epsilon sector. As she rushed to the bridge, the tactical display told the story. A massive Z-carry fleet had emerged from hyperspace, accompanied by ships of unknown design. "Report," she ordered, taking her position. Lieutenant Rivera's hands flew over his console. 300 Z-carry warships, plus another 100 vessels using some kind of masking technology. They're heading straight for the Luminian homeworld. Chen's jaw tightened. The Z-carry had been quiet since their failed genocide attempt. Too quiet. Now they were back with reinforcements, mercenaries from beyond known space, using tech that could partially cloak their ships from standard sensors. "Alert Earth Command and the Coalition Defense Force. Where's the nearest backup?" "Hess Spectre is 20 minutes out. Coalition forces are scattered. Nearest group is 2 hours away." The Phantom could handle dozens of ships, but 400. Even with its advanced technology, those weren't good odds. But the Luminians were under Earth's protection, and Chen hadn't forgotten their first encounter with the Z-carry. "All hands to battle stations. Deploy quantum buoys in a spherical pattern. Let's see what our visitors are hiding." As the crew prepared for combat, a transmission cut through the tension. War Chief Kraz's crystalline features filled the main screen, his expression triumphant. "Captain Chen, we meet again. I trust you realize the futility of resistance this time." "Chief Kraz," Chen replied calmly. "I see you've made some new friends. Interesting technology they have. Almost good enough to fool our sensors. Almost." Kraz's confidence wavered slightly. "You cannot protect everyone, human. The galaxy is vast, and your ships are few. Surrender the Luminian system, and we might let your vessel retreat intact." Chen allowed herself a small smile. "You still don't understand what you're dealing with, do you? Computer, activate Protocol Omega. Authorization, Chen Alpha 7. The Phantom's quantum core hummed to life, its power signature changing in ways that defied conventional physics. Throughout the ship, hidden systems activated, transforming the vessel in subtle but significant ways. "Last chance, Kraz. Withdraw your forces." The war chief laughed. "You're outnumbered 400 to 1. Even your advanced vessel can't." The rest of his sentence was lost as the Phantom split into 8 perfect copies, each one fully solid, each one armed with the same devastating weapons that had humbled the Z-carry before. But this time, Chen wasn't playing defensively. "All units, execute Pattern Sigma," she ordered. "Disable their primary weapons and engines. Prioritize command and control systems." The 8 Phantoms moved like dancers through the enemy fleet, their phase cannons striking with surgical precision. Z-carry ships found their weapons suddenly powerless, their engines dead in space. The mercenary vessels tried to maintain their partial cloak, but the quantum buoys had mapped their exact positions. "Impossible." Kraz raged as his fleet was systematically neutralized. "No single ship can." "Who said anything about a single ship?" Chen interrupted. The space behind the Z-carry fleet rippled as the HSS Spectre decloaked, bringing its own weapons to bear. More quantum signatures appeared as Earth's hidden vessels revealed themselves one by one. Within minutes, the massive attack force was reduced to floating hulks. No ships destroyed, no lives lost, but utterly helpless. Chen opened a channel to all vessels. "Attention all ships. This is Captain Chen of the Earth Defense Force. Your vessels have been disabled. Rescue ships are en route to evacuate your crews if needed. To our mercenary friends, your employers didn't tell you everything about who you were facing. Earth is offering you a chance to switch sides. We pay better, and we don't send our allies on suicide missions. The bridge crew watched in amazement as nearly half the mercenary ships signaled their surrender. The Z-carry vessels, proud to the end, maintained their silence. "Captain," Rivera called out, "we're detecting quantum surges from the disabled ships. They're self-destructing." "Kraz, what are you doing?" Chen demanded. The war chief's face was a mask of fury. "If we cannot have victory, we choose our own end. The Z-carry do not surrender." "Like hell," Chen growled. "Computer, execute wide-field quantum lock. Target all Z-carry vessels. The Phantom's most closely guarded secret activated. A field that could freeze quantum states, preventing any form of energy reaction." The self-destruct sequences fizzled harmlessly, leaving the Z-carry crews alive but furious. "You would deny us even an honorable death." Kraz spat. "There's no honor in needless sacrifice," Chen replied. "Your people have much to offer the galaxy, Kraz. But first, you need to learn that strength isn't just about destroying things. Sometimes, the greatest power lies in choosing not to." As coalition ships arrived to secure the disabled vessels, Chen received a priority message from Earth Command. The Z-carry attempt to circumvent Earth's defenses had failed spectacularly, but it had also revealed more of humanity's capabilities than intended. The balance of power wasn't just shifting now, it was transforming completely. "Send word to Admiral Rodriguez," Chen ordered. "Tell her the Z-carry gambit failed, but we need to accelerate the integration program. It's time to show the galaxy that Earth's vision of the future includes everyone, even our enemies." The bridge crew understood. This wasn't just about winning battles. It was about winning peace, about building something that would last beyond the next conflict. Humanity had shown its teeth again, but also its heart. And that, perhaps, was the most revolutionary weapon of all. New Dawn. 1 year after the Z-carry attempted invasion of Lumina, the Grand Galactic Council chamber looked very different. The hierarchical seating that had once separated major and minor powers was gone, replaced by a circular arrangement where all species sat as equals. At the center of this transformation stood Ambassador Michael Okonjo, preparing to address the first session of the Reformed Council. When humanity revealed its true capabilities, he began, many assumed we would simply become another empire, another force seeking dominion over others. Instead, we offered something different. A vision of a galaxy where strength serves justice, where technology advances peace, and where cooperation replaces conquest. The chamber was packed with representatives from over 50 species. The Luminians sat near their former enemies, the Z-carry, both species now contributing their unique strengths to the new order. The Arxians and the Meridian Consortium had transformed their military standoff into a joint development project, combining Arxian engineering with consortium resource management. In 1 year, Michael continued, we've seen remarkable changes. The Luminian Medical Initiative has established 200 neutral healing centers across contested spaces. The Z-carry, once bent on conquest, now trained the galaxy's most effective peacekeeping forces. The technology sharing program, under Earth's guidance, has lifted 12 developing species to spacefaring status. High Speaker Velfar, now serving as one of 5 rotating council chairs, nodded in agreement. The Arxian leader had been among the first to embrace Earth's new vision, despite his initial resistance. But our greatest achievement, Michael said, isn't in our technological advances or diplomatic breakthroughs. It's in the fundamental shift in how we view power and responsibility. The holographic displays activated, showing the latest joint project. A massive space station unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. Its quantum-enhanced construction incorporated designs from 20 different species, creating something entirely new. This is Unity Station, Michael announced. the first of 12 planned installations that will serve as neutral zones for commerce, cultural exchange, and collaborative research. Every species, regardless of their technological level or military strength, will have equal access and representation. Captain Sarah Chen, attending as Earth's military representative, watched the reactions around the chamber. A year ago, she had faced down the Zetkari fleet. Now, former War Chief Kraz served as head of the Joint Peacekeeping Initiative, his species' warrior culture redirected toward protecting the peace rather than disrupting it. Earth's fleet remains vigilant, Michael continued, not as conquerors or police, but as guardians of these shared principles. The HSS Phantom and its sister ships patrol our spaces not to dominate, but to preserve the peace we've all built together. Admiral Rodriguez, standing at the back of the chamber, allowed herself a small smile. The Quantum Buoy network now spanned the galaxy, making surprise attacks virtually impossible. But more importantly, fewer species wanted to attack in the first place. They had found better ways to resolve their differences. We face new challenges, Michael acknowledged. The unknown forces that supplied advanced technology to the Zetkari remain at large. Remnants of the old power structures still resist change. But we face these challenges together, with combined strength greater than any single species could achieve alone. The ambassador gestured to the latest addition to the council, representatives from 3 species that had just achieved faster-than-light travel. Under the old system, they would have waited decades for recognition. Now they took their places as full members, their unique perspectives already enriching the galactic community. Humanity kept its advances secret for years because we saw how power was misused in the galaxy. We revealed ourselves not to dominate, but to catalyze change. Today, we see the results of that decision. The chamber erupted in approval. Even the most conservative species had to acknowledge the benefits of the new order. Trade was up, conflicts were down, and technological advancement was accelerating through cooperation rather than competition. Let this anniversary mark not just 1 year since Earth's emergence, Michael concluded, but the first year of a new era. An era where the strong protect the weak, where knowledge serves all, and where we rise or fall together as one galactic community. As the session moved to discussing new initiatives, Captain Chen received a priority alert. The Phantom's quantum sensors had detected unusual signatures from beyond the galaxy's outer rim. Something was coming, something that would test this new alliance in ways they couldn't yet imagine. She caught Admiral Rodriguez's eye, who nodded slightly. Earth had transformed the galaxy once by revealing its strength. Now that strength would serve a greater purpose, protecting the peace they had built together. Send word to all Earth ships, Rodriguez subvocalized into her neural link. Begin deep space surveillance. Whatever's coming, we face it as a united galaxy. The message went out to hundreds of vessels, visible and hidden, each crewed by humans who had sworn to protect not just Earth, but all species who sought peace. They had reshaped the galaxy not through conquest, but through wisdom, showing that true power lies not in the ability to destroy, but in the choice to protect and preserve. A new dawn had truly risen for the galaxy, and humanity, once hidden in the shadows, now stood proudly in the light, not as conquerors, but as guardians of a future brighter than any single species could have imagined alone.